Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live stream at 4 o'clock. This is Instructor Chris and Instructor Brad. We hope you have some fun. So we're just going to start off with our usual light, warming up the hands and shuffling the feet. And then we're going to go to winding up the chi. So drape your hands here, start to swing them back and forth just to loosen up the wrists. While you do this, start doing ball heel exchange a little bit or lifting up your heels on your feet. Now go a little bit faster. Arms are parallel. Keep breathing. Focus on the breathing. Good. Wind it up a little more, a little bit more. Good. A little faster, a little faster. If the wrists come off, that's okay. Keep going. That's it. Good job. And bouncing back and forth. Good. Now from here, we're going to go into just a warm up with the hands on the body. So keeping with social distancing, this is just on your body. Tapping up all the way up to the shoulder, back down to the wrist, from the wrist up to the shoulder, now on the inside. While you're doing this, you're just lightly swaying back and forth, lifting up your feet, keep your body moving. Good, now we go to the chest area if you can. Work down one side, onto the belly. Good, back up onto the chest. Good, now start on top of your right quad, to your knee, back up to your hip, back down to your knee, and then compressing both sides of the leg, and then down into your lower quad there, lower calf. Good, back to your bouncing. Good. Now we're going back to the stomach area. Nice light taps with your hammer fist. A little faster, a little faster, a little faster. Good. Now to the top of the hip, down to the knee, back up to the hip, back down to the knee, and then slapping on the inside. Good. And then finish off with that gastrocnemius. Good. Okay, from here, right leg back to B. I'm going to start off with your right hand out, bracing your right tibia, and we'll just do a nice light high rising heel kick. As you're doing this kick, let's just stay with the right side first. We're going to get about 10 in, and then we'll switch. Each time your leg can come up a little bit higher. Just really relax and breathe. 2 more. 1 more. And puck watch each sides. Good, and again. Now for some of you higher belts, instead of doing the kick like I'm doing in placement, you can actually add in a pendulum with it. So as I'm kicking up with my straight leg, I just drop my leg back. My non-kicking leg goes to pendulum. It helps keep the flow. Good, everyone's doing great. Good, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And now just bouncing from side to side. We're about to go into a series of squats. First squat is 25%. So we start off here. One of us will face you, one of us will be sideways. And we're just going to do a light squat. Good. Now push the weight into the heels. Let the bum go out a little bit. Back fairly straight. Good. Now at the end of each squat, we go into a knee lift. One squat, one side. Other squat, the other side. So there's a little bit of a sway. We're starting to load up one leg only. And shake it up. Good. Okay, next footwork here is you're starting with your feet together and you hop to one side with 2 counts. And the other side with 2 counts. And you're back and forth. Like you're galloping across the line. Good. Nice and easy. Well done. And back to your squat again. Now we're going to go halfway squats as best as you can. That would mean your thighs go to a point where they're parallel to the ground. That would be a half squat. Now this time, when you come up from your squat, to load up your leg, you're going to do an inside check. Down, inside check. Down, inside check. Good. While we're finishing this off, I'd like all of you to think about having your sticks with you, hopefully 2 pairs of foam or rattan sticks. Good, and shaking it out. Nicely done. All right, now we're gonna go right leg back. We're gonna start off with an inside thigh kick with a drop step. So I go inside thigh, drop. Inside thigh, drop. Continue, please. You'll notice with instructor Brad. As he kicks, he pushes his heel down the center line, hits with the heel or the inside ridge of his shoe, toes are to the outside. He's not looking down. Doesn't want to give that kick away by looking down. He just looks at his target in a general soft, focused way. Good. Now from here, please feel free to use a wall if you want with your hand. But all I'm going to ask you to do is a backside kick. So tabletop, drape your chin over your shoulder. From here, keep that hand up and just start to kick backwards behind you and make sure your foot ends up nice and flat. So go ahead, one after the other. You notice the foot is pretty much flat, hitting with the heel. Go back to tabletop and down. Good, nice. Let's do 2 more before we switch sides. You also notice that as instructor Brad is kicking here, his shoulders are going forward, which helps with elevation of the kick, but also gets your head away from your opponent. 1 more and hold. Also, this leg here is slightly bent. You don't want it straight. Good, let's switch to the other side, please. Sir. Good. Elevation with a high knee. Drape your chin over your shoulder. Start to kick through. Your support foot should still be in the same position. Heel facing the kick. And then back to the start position again. Good. If you are a higher belt or you just have really good balance, then feel free to do this without the wall, without a chair, without any assistance at all, unless you need it. And then just keep going. That's good. All right, we're back to bouncing here. This time, what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to be bouncing back and forth with both feet with a single bounce. Good. That's it, back and forth. And then I want you to twist it. So you're trying to get your belly button to face to the inside on every bounce. As soon as we're done this, we're picking up our sticks, okay? So have your sticks close by. If you don't have them, maybe go grab them. Good, okay. Let's begin with the sticks. So I'm gonna have everybody start off with 2 sticks. We're gonna place them on our shoulders, and we're just gonna do a little boxing. So from here, let's go right leg back. Good, jab left, cross right. Good. Now, this time, extended hip with your stick. With the number 1, come out. Good. So stick, nice. Now really accentuate your ball heel exchange. So when I'm hitting with my left, I'm really tapered. My left knee is protecting my groin. My left heel's off the ground. Come back to the other side, same thing. Good, 1, 2. Good, just warm that up. Higher belts, start doing a little J at the end. Good, nice. Feet neutral, forward rotations and down. And then reverse, then forward. The stick is traveling on the outside or the lateral side of your forearm. Your palms are up halfway through, and then the weight carries them all the way. Good. Now let's do 2 on the way up, so 6 pointing down. We're gonna go 1 rotation to our waist, 2nd rotation towards the ceiling, and then 1st rotation to our chest height, 2nd rotation down to the floor. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very good. From here, you're going to go right heel up, right hand leading, strike across with a 7. Come out, 7. Good. 1, 2. Just warming up with this. Good, everybody freeze. Notice I'm hitting with my left hand. My right hand's attempting to take the center line almost every single time. When I come back, this striking stick covers my center line as I switch over to the other strike. Good. Excellent. All right, from here, interior rolls. Now the stick is traveling on the inside or medial side, coming up onto our armpit. From here, we let go, and we bring our hands across, grabbing the sticks, striking out, interior roll. Grab your sticks, strike out, interior roll. Just let, as your hands come across, one hand's below the other, then just grab your sticks from there, strike back out, interior roll. So this is just part of our warm up. Just have some fun with it. Good. One more. Nice. Now this time you're going to do an interior roll, but it's coming into the opposite side. So you've got your sticks underneath your armpit. One stick's on top. I'm going to take the top stick, whether it's left or right, and I'm going to hit with my puño. Puño, and then tip of the stick. Puño, tip of the stick. So here's my interior rolls. 1, 2. So if you're getting to that belt level where you're starting to incorporate inside fighting drills with your stick, this is a necessary drill to warm up and practice with that. Now let's slow it down. Here, as I pull the stick up, it's jamming against my body. Here, I get more room to bring the stick out and strike. So I'm turning to face into the side that the stick is on. Stick's on my left side. I'm not facing away from the stick, I'm facing into the stick. Hit with the puño, then with the tip. Then as I start to rotate through, this stick is coming back into my center, striking, striking. Very good, let it flow. You definitely need a nice ball heel exchange as you're doing this. Really let your feet flow. Good. Okay, higher belts, you can speed it up a little bit. Still keep the ball heel exchange happening. Try and get your stick going nice and straight. Slow it down. Good. And relax. Nicely done, everybody. All right. From here, what we're going to start off with is we're going to strike with our right hand going across our body. Our left hand's following. So 1, left hand's over here, 2, then 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter how it happens, just always following your first striking stick with your second striking stick. And then making sure you're alternating. You have lots of different combinations here. I'm just trying not to hit Instructor Brad's hand. Good, and relax. Now let's go stack on both sticks on the same side. So let's go start off the right side. My hand is up, other hand is down low. So I have a high-low guard position. From here, I strike out and I come back. Strike out and I come back. Now I do the wood tick where it bounces off the center line, comes back underneath my armpit. Out and back, out and back. Play the violin for your third hit, which goes back underneath your armpit. So this is Heaven 6. For those of you who have not done this much before, just try it. Just play with it. Instructor Brad's going to continue for the higher belts, and he might just speed up a little bit and have some fun with it. And I'm going to slow it down for those of you who are just learning this technique. To start off with, just set yourself up again with a high guard and a medium guard, sorry. And then from here, this is called lop tick, where you're going out, hitting its center line, coming back again, lop tick. Then I go another lop tick, same thing. Sticks pointing up, come back. It leaves my first strike kind of like playing the violin at my elbow. Now the third strike is always a wood tick. That means it doesn't follow through. It just hits its target and then rechambers back the way it came. 1, 2. Then it just goes back underneath the armpit. Now we're back at our high and medium position for defense or guard. Now I'm going to go through lop tick, wood tick, and back. Now it might help if I call out the hand. So I got my right hand at the top. Right hand goes first. Right, left, right, and back. Left, right, left, and back. Good. Something to practice in front of the mirror and have some fun with that. Good. Well done, everybody. Okay. That's some of the basic things you can practice with your stick at home and improve those skills. Okay. Well done. Thank you. All right. Now we're moving on. From here, we're going to go to ground kicks. I'm going to ask Instructor Brad to start off first on his hands and knees. Okay, and you'll notice from here, he's going to point kick me in the back of the leg from here. So just go ahead, you do that fire hydrant stretch, point kick, then drop and go on the other side. So you're going back and forth, doing your point kick from this position. So if you're ever in your hands and knees, you've got your point kick, and usually it's best to the side. Good. Now, after this kick, he's going to chamber with his left leg, but he's going to bring his foot to his knee. He's going to do a side kick to the side. So he comes up and then side kicks out, holds it, and then switches. Really has to articulate the hip to get that, to have room to do the side kick. Nice. Good. One more on each side. Good. Last one. Now Instructor Brad's going to go sideways to the camera with his head towards me. And from here, he's going to bring his right knee up towards his armpit. And then he's going to do a back side kick straight out. He holds it. He drapes his chin over his right shoulder. He's taking a look, definitely hitting with that heel. And then he rechambers and goes to the other side. Good. And then kicks out. Notice how that foot, if it's a mule kick, the foot will be right down. But a side kick, it'll be sideways. A little bit higher there, sir. There you go. Good. And then switch. So let's just keep going here. Hannah. Good. You get to look over your shoulder. Doon. Nice. Set. Net. Toss. And yase. Good. Now Instructor Brad's going to stand up and he's going to be more my target. Give him a bit of a break. So if I was on my hands, knees like you people were, we're going to do a step through. So I'm going to face you to start off with. All right, you can join in if you wish, sir. But all I'm going to do is from this position, I bring one leg forward, then I lift up that same side hand and I step through and I kick with my modified front snap kick or inside thigh kick. I come back. Now I'm going to step through with my right foot. Right hand comes off the ground and I kick through. Then I come back. Sorry, and 1, 2, just follow along. 3, 4, last one. 5, good. From here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kick through with our right, end up in a side break fall position. From this position, our top foot is going to touch our knee. We're going to throw out our side kick. As we throw out our side kick, our hands get chambered up into a high position. All right, from here we go inside thigh, side kick, and then come up. And from here we'll just do our tactical get up a couple of times just to review it. So coming here, stepping through, stepping up, get that other hand out in front. Good. From here, going down nice and low, kicking through again. Hold this position. Good, and down is your side break fall position. Now we're going to grab our ankle, which you probably wouldn't do in a self-defense position, but just to get a good stretch in your hip flexor and your quads. And then we're just going to do our point kick from the side ground position. So I'm kicking really pretty much to neutral, but after I get warmed up, I want to kick past that center line so I'm getting more power into the kick. Good. Nice. Now also from this position, you can come up on one hand and just kick straight out and switching onto our back. So now if I fell backwards, I'm in my back break fall, we're going to come up into a crab walk position. So in the crab walk, I load up both hands, one leg, kick out, switch. This is a very effortless, kind of a nice functional kick if you're on your back. Good. Now if Instructor Brad jumps to his feet and he comes in, let's say, to hit me and I'm pushing here and it's really hard for him to strike me because all I have to do is fall back. But when he steps back, I can come in and take out that leg. So this crab walk position is really functional. Good, let's go back down to the crab walk again. Come up. We should be able to move away from our opponent, move towards them, front snap kicks, drop to point kicks. Good, that sort of thing from the ground. All right, well done. Let's get back up. Good, so the next thing is technical wall kicks. So I'm gonna ask Instructor Brad to go to the wall with his left hand on a chair, back of a couch or a wall. We're gonna start off with point kicks. He's gonna turn and face me a little bit angle, lifts his knee, points it towards me. His hips are now stacked. He fires out the kick. He holds it. This is where we want to hold this kick. We're working on the technique of it. From there, he's going to go past the center line, come back, rechamber, and then switch sides. Good. So up, stack the hip, out, back, and through again. So we're just working on that aspect. Now, while Instructor Brad does that, I'm going to do another version. This version here is, I think, more for our higher belts who are learning to do hidden point kicks rather than your typical Pichigi kind of kick or Chico kick. So instead of starting here with your hips stacked, you're actually going to start here, where your foot is draped down. You're going to hit with the top of your ankle, and your knee is more pointed in the direction of your kick. So the foot is draped down. That's the only big difference. And then when you stack your hip, that's when the foot comes up, then the kick through and back and down. Okay, let's do,
30 seconds.
sorry?
About 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. We have 30 seconds left, so let's look at the technique of developing your hook kick. We'll first do it from the ground. So we'll start off down here in our side break fall position. I'm lying on my right side. I'm going to swing my left leg out till it's about 45. As I start to come up, I fan and I hook, and I bring my knee behind my torso. Then I kick, point kick through. Then I drop my foot, sweep around, hook, point kick through. And then now we're going to switch to the other side with a windmill. So up and around, good. And then from here, same thing. What I'm going to do is bring my foot out, 45, come up, sweep and hook, point kick through, work on that hook. Now I'm just going to show you what I think is really important, especially when you're standing up, is that you're not doing this. There's a drop in the knee and the ankle before you do your hook. So here's the point, but then you drop, make a big circle and hook. That will give you power in your hook kicks. Good, let's swing to the other side. And we're back up. Good. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Students, so we're just going to do a quick standing Makto out, and then we'll get into our coach's corner. So, ready? Thank you for participating in today's class. Sho, chiriye, konni, ki. Good. All right, so first thing I wanted to do is cover a couple announcements. If you're new to our live streaming, obviously there's no feedback here, but you can play this at any time. So if you miss the 2 live streams, which are happening pretty much every day at 2 o'clock and at 4 o'clock, you can go ahead and just click on those as a video and watch them over and over if you're working on a particular skill that we covered that day. Our live stream this afternoon at 4 o'clock is always geared towards more the teens and the adults, although anybody can jump in for sure. Next, if you're a teen and adult, try and have your belt on if you can. Actually, that's for live stream. That's for feedback classes, so it doesn't matter. But for the feedback classes, try and have your belt on so we can see. And if you have sticks and knives and stuff like that, have them ready so you can get going. Other than that, please log in your days. And if you have any questions at all, please contact us at dowpeace.com, at admin, our phone number. Just get hold of us and we'll try and help you out. All right, so today's philosophy that I thought we'd share is the philosophy of detachment. And there's this old story about Master Po, which you may have heard me talk about. Master Po is traveling with one of his students, and he's traveling through the Old West across the United States, and they're traveling by stagecoach on this particular day, and it's pouring rain, and it's cold, and everybody's tired from their journey. And when they get into the town, everybody's just quickly getting off the stagecoach, taking care of their own stuff, grabbing their baggage, and trying to get underneath the veranda of the big hotel that the stagecoach has just pulled up in front of. But Master Po is doing that. He's getting his stuff, but he's trying to also be aware of his surroundings. And he notices that one of the passengers, who happens to be a lady who seems very high-strung and agitated, and has been that way for the whole trip, pretty much complaining the whole trip. She looks completely distraught, and she's yelling at the coach driver and his assistant, you know, be careful with my luggage. Those are delicate things. You're treating it like garbage, and she's treating them like garbage. But she's very, very demanding. Master Po sees that she's not in a kind of a peril that's going to make an easy transition from the coach to underneath the awning or whatever of the hotel. And so he offers her a ride so she doesn't have to go through the mud. And she begrudgingly accepts without much gratitude. She gets on his back. And Master Po is, let's say, you know, quite elderly at this point, but he carries her across the mud and puts her gently on the veranda of the hotel. Without any thanks, she proceeds to yell a little bit more at the coach driver and assistant to get her luggage underneath the veranda and out of the rain. And that's pretty much what happened. That was the so-called drama of the situation. Days went by. They spent a few days in the town. Now Master Po and his student are leaving, and this time they're going to go to the next town, but they're going to walk, and they're heading north out of the town, going through some beautiful farmland and pastures. And they've been walking for about 4 or 5 hours, and the master notices that his awesome student is kind of straggling behind, but doesn't look the same, doesn't look light, doesn't look happy. He's kind of muttering to himself, and so the master stops and sits down, invites his student to join him, and he says, "So what's up?" And the student looks at him and says, "You allowed her to treat you with disrespect, that she was rude, she was arrogant, she was spiteful. She wasn't a nice person, Master." And the master goes, "Okay, observations, yes. She wasn't handling the situation well." And then the student continues, "But you gave her a lift over to she deserved to stand in the rain. There was no consequences for her poor behavior." And the master said, "If you have a chance to be kind, should your kindness only extend to those who meet your standards of approval? Or could your kindness be extended to everyone? Maybe the one that's misbehaving the most needs the most kindness at that particular time. And yet, we think we're punishing them by not extending kindness, but they don't understand it. They just think of us as worse people. They're already complaining about us." And the student thought, and he says, "Well, it still kind of irks me that, that she treated you that way." And the master stood up and said, "I put her down about 3 or 4 days ago. You're still carrying her. I suggest you let her go." And then they continued their journey. And that was the Master Po's kind of little intro to a student about detaching from particular outcomes. What you think should be, might not be. Let it go. The only conduct that we really can control is our own. Thank you for listening to the Coach's Corner. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.